Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now Anthony Joshua is ramping up his training and preparations for Tyson Fury. Fury's doing the same as well. They're obviously working towards a June date, although it could slip into July. That is uncertain at the moment due to the fact that they haven't announced the fight. That seems to be a long time coming, especially considering they have said they are ready to sign. Contracts and negotiations are done now, and all it takes now is a signature to get this fight on. So let's hope that that happens sooner rather than later. Dillian White spoke about the fact that it seems to be some kind of nonsense going on, that it hasn't been announced because it's been in the works for so long. But the importance of the event does state that it could take a little bit longer. So let's just hope that it gets announced very soon, and then we can start speculating a bit more about where this fight might take place, because there will be two separate announcements, one announcing the fight is on, then another announcing when the fight will be and where it will be. Now, of course, there is this situation of lockdown and all of that. Fans, I would imagine, will definitely be there because it will be somewhere like Saudi. Even if it's in America, they'll have fans. They won't have fans, I wouldn't believe, in the UK. If they do, it would be around 1,000, just like at Kubrat Pulev. So there's no way this fight is taking place in the UK with 1,000 fans. It's not really financially viable considering the amount of money they could get getting a site fee, going somewhere else, and still having fans as well. So let's be real, it's going to be somewhere like Saudi. And I would imagine 20,000 people, maybe even more. I mean, they custom built a stadium or arena for Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz Jr., the second fight, and that was huge. So imagine what they'll do for AJ versus Fury. So that does tell us that this fight will be heading to that region. Obviously, Anthony Joshua in training, getting ready, things aren't necessarily going to be too easy for either party because they have to try and get sparring partners, and bringing sparring partners over from, let's say, America maybe, or from Europe, is not going to be so easy because of the current lockdown. I mean, Dillian White could not get back into the country due to restrictions, so the fight had to be moved to March 27th between him and Povetkin. So things are difficult, but there's a way around it. Lockdown is a pain, obviously, and I do hope that they don't open things up too quickly, because I would rather that they left it a little bit longer than open things up and it's actually open, instead of just going back into another restricted zone after a couple of weeks. That seems to be what has happened. Let's be real, in the past they have tried to open it up too quickly, and that has caused another wave of these infections. So hopefully things do start going back to normal this year and we can start having fans back in arenas, especially for something like Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, which again, taking it to someone like Saudi will guarantee that they have a sold out arena wherever the fight may take place. And I don't know about you guys, but I would love it to go and see this fight live. It would be incredible. The atmosphere, the tension, the build up, the ring walks, just all of it. What an incredible event this will turn out to be. So hopefully the fight does get agreed and actually announced very, very soon. I would imagine it will just be sprung upon us. I think that we've had a lot of it's 80% done, 90% done, these little updates here and there. I believe that eventually the announcement will just come. We won't know necessarily when it's going to come. It will just be sprung upon us, and hopefully that happens within the week. But then again, we've said that over the past couple of weeks, so we don't know at the moment. But considering the hoops that they have jumped through with the WBO situation, and obviously Usyk and his team aren't so happy about that at the moment because the Joyce fight isn't actually moving forwards, but still, considering that, considering the Wilder situation, I mean, let's be real, the fight should be in a better position compared to 6 months ago, or even a couple of weeks ago, because they are moving forwards, and according to Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn, the signature is ready to be put onto paper. Now let's talk about the training a little bit for both fighters. I believe that Tyson Fury could come in around 19 stone again, just like he did for the Wilder fight. I'm not necessarily believing that he's going to be exactly the same weight, and definitely not the same kind of game plan. AJ won't go in there with the same game plan against Pulev, although he did say he's looking to utilise his jab in this fight with Fury. He also alluded to the fact that Fury is this kind of warm-up act, has behind the back, and playing to the crowd, the press conferences as well, whereas he's there to get the job done, to get stuck in, and get the result. There is of course two different ways of looking at it. Fury approaches fights differently to AJ, and maybe that will clash in the build-up to this fight. AJ's already talking about it. So there are different ways that both of these fighters will approach this fight, and that's what makes for a great fight. And a great event with an intriguing build-up. I hope they get to do the gloves are off, because that would be just brilliant. Getting them facing off in front of one another, just having a conversation. And obviously, Johnny's there as well. But anyway, it would be great just to see them together, having a chat, talking about this fight. And let's see how it all goes down in June or July. Now, having said that Tyson Fury will come in around 19 stone, I think that he could be a little bit lower, but still, considering that, what will AJ's weight be? And what will his game plan be in this fight? I believe that we can kind of deduce that Tyson Fury will try and make him miss and be awkward early on to try and frustrate Anthony Joshua, because Joshua has the power and at times can get stuck in. So perhaps Tyson Fury will look to draw that out of Anthony Joshua to make him deviate from his game plan, to do something else, to chase the fight, to get emotionally involved. Those are certain things that Tyson Fury will try to draw from Anthony Joshua. Now, on the flip side, what is AJ going to do against Fury? Is he going to box him long? Is he going to be lighter, dancing around the ring, trying to be the mover in there, trying to be the one with the better jab, the better movement as well? I believe Anthony Joshua will look to make it as simple as possible in there. I know it's an elite level heavyweight fight, but still, that is what he will try and do, break things down. He has 3 minutes to win the round, 1 minute rest, he has 3 more minutes once again. Sounds pretty damn simple, right? Well, considering this is what David Haye done when he fought Derek Chisora, I'm not saying that there are any parallels between AJ and David Haye, but what David Haye done when he was in there with Chisora, he was in there with a bigger guy, someone who was perhaps stronger than him, and up close was going to be grappling, holding, pushing him back, making it rough and tough. So David Haye got himself into a condition where he could absolutely knacker himself out in those 3 rounds. It'd take a minute rest and he was ready to go once again. Now, you would expect a fighter to do that for each and every fight, but different fights, different fighters require different game plans. Against Derek Chisora, what David Haye wanted to be able to do was, when they got in the hold, was to be able to walk Derek Chisora back to the ropes and to tie him up. Each time he does that, that's a mental victory. That is the kind of mindset he went in there against Derek Chisora with. I'm not saying that Derek Chisora and Tyson Fury are similar, I'm not saying that this is a similar situation, but AJ is going in there against a bigger guy, and he does need to be in a condition where he can work for 3 minutes, and that mental strain as well, and then go back, take a minute's rest, and he's ready to go once again. He needs to stay calm mentally, and work on certain things, like getting the jab going. Everything must come off of the jab, and when he finishes, the jab as well. Start and finish with that jab. That is also something that Tyson Fury does extremely well. Everything does come off of that jab. He's very awkward as well, double feint, moves a lot, and for a big guy, he's incredible. So these two fighters are coming together in the prime of their careers, and we don't really know who is going to win. If we did, it wouldn't be branded a 50-50 fight. I believe that AJ will look to work down to the body of Tyson Fury. I've not seen many fighters do that. Early on in his career, yes, but as he's gone through, many fighters can't even get close enough to Tyson Fury in order to do that. He does keep them at range, and that time when he does close the distance, such as against Tom Schwartz, he just went headhunting. He didn't have any concept of going down to the body. Against Wilder, much the same. I mean, Tyson Fury was just continuously backing him up behind jabs and hard right hands. So there was little concept of going to the body against Tyson Fury to try and slow him down to their pace. No one has really done that to him before. That is something I believe AJ will look to do in there with Tyson Fury, work down to the body to slow Tyson Fury down and to create new opportunities, especially to land punches upstairs also, because Tyson Fury has a great head movement, very elusive, rarely gets hit clean, and that is down to his ability to ride shots extremely well. Whereas if AJ goes down to the body, then he can't necessarily get out of range so quickly, whereas when he's got that head movement, the lateral movement, he is able to avoid those shots, then counter, make his opponent miss, and make them pay. Whereas the body is a bigger target, so that is definitely something that AJ will look to exploit when he gets in there with Tyson Fury, but still, it is an uphill task, but on the flip side, it's an uphill task also for Tyson Fury. Now guys, can we talk about Luke Campbell for a little bit, because have you seen his Instagram post where he putting the super middleweight division on notice? Who wants the smoke? And there's a picture of him, and he definitely does look like 154 or 160. I mean, He's a big guy. We saw that in the Ryan Garcia fight, right? I mean, he looked quite big for that division. So it's interesting that he's talking about that. That's a joke, obviously. I'm not expecting Luke Campbell to move up to super middleweight, but I do believe that he could go up in weight. I'm kind of thinking that maybe he's a little bit too dry down at lightweight. Maybe he does need to jump up. Maybe super lightweight, perhaps welterweight. I'm not entirely sure because some of the guys in that division are quite big. But 140 is definitely a possibility for Luke Campbell. I believe that he should be moving up because he did look really big in that Ryan Garcia fight. And currently in that division, he's lost it to Ryan Garcia. There are fighters such as Gervonta Davis. There are fighters also such as Teofimo Lopez. Loma is still in there as well. He's lost it to Loma. He's lost it to Ryan Garcia. And whilst he had his moments in the Ryan Garcia fight, he didn't take the opportunities. There was an opportunity to go after Ryan Garcia. Of course, Luke Campbell was thinking boxing first, get the knockout second. But in that situation, Ryan Garcia was extremely raw. He'd never been in that position before. So therefore, he does not know what to do. He doesn't know the protocol for going down in a fight of that significance in there with someone with that kind of experience. So had he jumped on Ryan Garcia, I believe he could have gotten the victory. Not certain, he could have got caught himself, but still, there was definitely a possibility that Ryan Garcia would have kind of fallen apart if Luke Campbell jumped on him, because as I said, he's never been in that position before, and if you look at the wealth of experience on a Luke Campbell's part, then you can see that things maybe would have gotten too much for Ryan Garcia. But in hindsight, we'd all do something different, so, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But moving up to 140, there are some great fights out there for Luke Campbell. There's the likes of Jack Catterall, there's the likes of also Regis Prograis, Victor Postol, Baranchik, even like a domestic kind of matchup with Lewis Ritson. That is kind of maybe a little bit too soon for Lewis Ritson, although when is he going to have that big step-up fight? And he does seem to struggle in there with pure boxers. I mean, when he was in there with Vasquez, I would say that Vasquez kind of nicked that fight, and although he is a Mexican and you would expect him to have that Mexican style, he's more of a boxer than getting stuck in, getting close and working down to the body like you would expect from that kind of fighter. I mean, Vasquez had done brilliantly in that fight with Lewis Ritson, and I do believe that he did nick that fight. So you would have to wonder how Lewis Ritson got on with someone like Luke Campbell. I believe that Luke Campbell would be too good for him, so maybe he is past at that point. But a fight with, say, Victor Postol, Regis Prograis for Luke Campbell, now that is an exciting prospect. Even like a Baranchik would be great for him to just move up and get a fight. I mean, there's no guarantees he'll win that fight because Baranchik is a very good fighter. There are definitely some possibilities for Luke Campbell. I do believe that he should move up. Definitely not to the super middleweight division. That is of course a joke, but still, he shouldn't be moving up any further than 140. Have a fight there, then see how he does. 135, I don't believe he should be trying to drain himself down to make that weight anymore. Going up is the only way for Luke Campbell to continue his career, in my opinion anyway, and there are some great fights still there for Luke Campbell. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Pick your favourite subject and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.